Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to do a full face of Flower Beauty. Now, I did a full face of Flower Beauty when I was in Australia a couple of years ago. Now that Flower Beauty is finally available in New Zealand, I get to go to Chemist Warehouse in store and pick out some new products that I've seen. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Now, the first thing that I am going to try is this Supernova Celestial Priming Whip Mousse. So this is quite interesting. I've seen a lot of people try this on TikTok, but I personally have not, and it took me ages to be able to find this in stock. This is what it looks like. It's an aerosol can, and you have to really shake it before you pump it because it's a whip formula. So according to the bottle, this is going to soothe and rejuvenate your skin, weightless primer, leaves a soft radiance to diffuse the look of fine lines and pores. The only problem with this packaging is that, as you can see, it's oozing out even though you've already taken majority of the product. First impression, it's kind of messy. I might have put a little bit too much. It has a skincare smell to it. Very clean. It feels very smooth to the skin. It actually feels like a very hydrating moisturizer. My skin feels super plump. It's very glowy, very hydrating. So if you have dry skin, I feel like this primer is really good. If you have an oily skin, I would probably skip and try the pore minimizing primer instead. I have that primer and I've used up the whole tube and I love it. This is the foundation that I'm going to use, and this is the Light Illusion foundation, and I have the shade Tawny. It's a little bit too dark for me, but the concealer that I purchased, which is the same line, is in light medium, so it will kind of balance the color as well. I like this foundation for a SPF foundation typically because I have really sensitive skin. Sometimes foundation that has SPF irritate my skin, but for this one, because the main ingredient for sunscreen is titanium dioxide and zinc oxide and a little bit of octinoxate, it works well for my skin. And I've got the foundation brush. It's huge, it's very soft, yet it has enough density for me to be able to blend the foundation. So this foundation has got a nice medium coverage, buildable to 4. Oh, that primer is seriously balling up. Like, it's stuck on my hair. And it's like sort of balling up on this side as well. Oh, okay, I take it back. I don't like the primer. I don't have a lot to cover, thankfully. My skin has gotten a lot better. Light Illusion is very glowy. I find that even though I have oily skin, this foundation does not feel too greasy on my skin. And I actually kind of like this foundation on summertime because it gives enough glow at the same time. It's not too heavy. Now for the concealer, the most repurchased out of the Flower Beauty is this Light Illusion concealer. This is my 3rd tube. I've repurchased this a few times and this is such an amazing concealer. So what I like is to put that much there, and this color is perfect for me because the foundation is a little bit dark, so we can then brighten. Oh my god, there's some bunchy stuff from the primer I don't like. But anyway, the concealer is amazing. It's very lightweight. You can honestly build it up and you can apply it over or under powder, which is very nice, and it's a great touch-up concealer. I would probably suggest, out of all the Flower Beauty that I've tried so far, this is the best concealer that I've ever tried from the drugstore. How flawless does that concealer look? Honestly, and this is a type of concealer that never ever creases on me. To set my under eyes, I have this Flower Beauty Miracle Matte Pressed Powder. Now, I purchased the pressed powder version because the translucent loose powder version is a little bit too chunky. It's quite messy as well. So I opted for the pressed one. And I'm applying the powder using this Flower Beauty Highlight Blush Brush. I have 3 of these. In terms of Flower Beauty tools, this is my favorite tool. So I use this to apply powder. I use it to apply bronzer and blush. And sometimes I use this to apply highlighter as well because it's so soft. The bristles are quite long, so it lets you apply enough pressure on the face as well as it gives you that airbrush finish. Cream blushes from Flower Beauty. Now this is relatively new. So I have Bitten, which is more of a berry tone. I'm going to swatch all of them for you. And I have Melon, which is more of that watermelon shade. And then I have the most neutral thing, which is Pinch, which is more of like a peachy nude type of blush. So this is the 3 here. You can't really see Pinch as much because it kind of blended into my skin tone with a little bit of peachy to it. The formula reminds me of the Pixie Sheer Gel blush. It has a gel consistency. So I think I'm just gonna go and mix all 3 together, see what I come up with. And I'm going to use this brush, the e.l.f. stipple brush, and I'm going to pop that. This is a little bit too much, but it blends beautifully. You just have to be careful because you can apply so much blush. So I'm just gonna distribute majority of it in the high points of my cheek, and then I'm going to go over with a beauty blender with a little bit of the concealer just to diffuse the blush a little bit. I don't have any cream bronzer from Flower Beauty. I was actually thinking of using the darker foundation that they have, but I didn't want to waste my money. So I'm just going to use whatever cream bronzer I have. So this is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick. I just set my face with the translucent powder and I filled in my brows as well. So moving on to the bronzer, I actually have this palette right here. This is the Lift and Sculpt palette, and this one is in the shade medium to deep. To be honest, this does not really look like medium to deep. Just gonna set the bronzer and blush that we applied earlier. To set my blush, I'm going to use this nice baby pink shade. I have a highlighter palette from Flower Beauty. This is like one of the first products that I purchased from them. And this is the Shimmer and Strobe highlighting palette. I used to use this so much, and oh my gosh, this palette is so pretty. So I mixed this goldy shade and like a champagne-y shade. Ooh. Wow. Okay, I might have applied a little bit too much. My face is already glowing from that primer, but we're just gonna make it even more glowy, I suppose. So they have these eyeshadow quads instead. Now I have the 2 shades. I have Petal Play, which is more of that basic neutral palette. The packaging is really nice. It has the flower logo at the bottom, but it does feel really, really cheap and very lightweight. This palette right here is quite affordable, so you can't really fault that. So this is what it looks like. So if I tilt it that way, that's the actual shade. This is more of like a chocolate brown, and then you have the foiled shade, and then you have this one here is not fully matte. This has a little bit of shimmer, and this one here has a little bit of sheen to it. So you've got a matte, a sheen, a shimmer, and a foiled eyeshadow. Ooh, they feel so soft. to the touch. So this is what the shades look like. So that's the shades. I really am obsessed with that foiled eyeshadow right there. The second one is in, oh wait, okay, sorry. So this quad is called Petal Play. So this one is in the shade Gilded Lily. And this one right here is Berry More, which, you know, resembles Drew Barrymore, but I suppose she's into like more berry shades. So this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, this one right here is a pretty blush color. So same again, this one is fully matte. This one has a little bit of sheen to it. Again, this is the foiled type of eyeshadow, the same as this one here. So this is what it looks like, and it pulls off a little bit of pink. So I feel like if you want just a nice wash of color, this is perfect. I have two Kajal liners as well that I wanted to try. So I have the Spice, which is a nice chocolate brown with a little bit of shimmer. It pulls off a bit taupey. And then I have Jaded, which is that dark green. So I was thinking of using this dark green as well. So the good thing about these liner is that they're both blendable. Like you could smudge them. And I reckon that would be pretty on the eyes. I'm going to start off with the bronzer because there's not a good transition shade on the palette, and I'm just going to use the Flower Beauty eyeshadow blender brush, and this one came with the Concrete Jungle palette. And now I am going to move on to the Gilded Lily. And I'm actually going to pick up the dark brown, apply that on the outer corner of my lid. So now that I've covered majority of my lids, I'm actually going to go back to this Berry More palette, and pick up this shade right here just to blend the outer part of the lid, just to add a little bit of depth. Now the eyeshadow quad is a little bit powdery, so just keep that in mind. And then I am going to go and use this Jaded Kajal liner, and I'm actually going to apply that all over the lid. Oh wow, that is beautiful. Dries quite quick. I'm gonna go back to that Gilded Lily and just apply the dark shade and blend the outer a little bit, just so we have a seamless blend. And a fluffy brush, I'm just gonna go and use that dark brown underneath the lower lash line. And for the inner part of the lid, I am going to use this foiled shadow to add a little bit of depth into the inner part of the lid. I could even use the highlighter, but I quite like the shade. And then I am going to go back to the highlighter, and I am going to use this shade right here as my inner corner. Oh, the eyes, I'm so obsessed. It's so easy. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of that foiled shadow I'm quickly going to apply mascara and liner, and I'll be back to do the lips. So I'm just quickly gonna line my lips. I don't have any lip liner from Flower Beauty. For my lips, I have two lipsticks from Flower Beauty. I've got one in Miracle Matte, and this one is in the shade Rosewood. So I'm going to apply this a little bit. This one feels so comfortable on the lips because it feels like water and it doesn't feel like your lips is dehydrated. A little bit too dark, so in the center of my lips I am going to use this Perfect Pout in the shade of Buttercup. The lips is a little bit bright for my liking, so I'm quickly going to apply just a little bit of this blush just to lighten it up a little bit. Here is my final makeup look. Overall, my final thoughts, I am obsessed with Flower Beauty in general. There's only a few products that I don't particularly like from the brand, one being the priming whipped, and then I have tried the mascara and I'm actually not a fan of their mascara. Other than that, everything else that I've tried is very good. They are in par with high-end makeup. Packaging wise, I could get past the packaging because it's a little bit cheap, but then hey, it's affordable as well, and I'm glad that it is available here in New Zealand. My favorite from all the products that I've tried are probably this eyeshadow quad right here. It's so pigmented. It's very versatile. Like if you think of these two palettes, they look a little bit boring, but honestly, you can do so much with it. You can fill your brows with it. You can use it as blush, highlighter, and then this Kajal liner, well, liquid Kajal liner is also amazing, especially the shade Jaded. As you can see, it's amazing. It looks great on my eyes. This is such a nice party look. I have to say these blushes are amazing. They are of a gel formula and a little goes a very long way, so just be mindful of that. And you could also use this for your lips as well. The concealer is probably the top favorite from the brand, along with the highlighters. Honestly, do not sleep on this one. I wish in the future that Flower Beauty would expand their shade range when it comes to this palette right here, because honestly, medium to deep, who am I kidding? Like, this is not deep at all. Highlighting palette, it's amazing. Hopefully they come out with one that is good for deeper skin tone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!